is Leon getting the credit that he deserves? And I got to tell you, I've been surprised at a few things that I've heard coming off the back end. Now, my experience with UFC 296 is different from your experience in one way. I didn't hear the commentary. That's the only thing that is different about our experiences. I didn't get to hear what the announcers were saying. I was there. I was at the event, right? People that were there live, you're just watching it. There was a thing, let me give you an example. There was a thing that had come out that Joe Rogan was being lambasted for his comments about Leon. What would that possibly be? And Joe had commented that, if I'm even understanding this right, Joe had commented on Leon going out and taking down Colby. And what Joe's premise is that's not Leon's strengths. And in a world title fight, when the house is on fire, in the main event, you use your strengths. And Joe was very complimentary, saying his strengths were working. He did not need to go to anything else. I don't see what part of that is bad. And I think just from knowing Joe that he would have been impressed that he saw the takedowns, almost like surprised. As though he was celebrating that it happened. Not questioning, but it's just one of these things. It's one of these things that brings me back to the question I asked you a moment ago. Did Leon get the credit that he deserves? I felt like there was some misunderstanding in there. And then you're told that Colby didn't look his best. Okay, finish that thought. So Colby didn't look his best, so what? So what do you think should have happened? So Leon should have beaten him, he did beat him. Leon should have won more rounds, he did win the rounds. Leon should have stopped him? Is that what you're attempting to say? Come on, now you're just being silly. He fought hard, I'm talking about Leon, the entire time, to the point that he even turned to skills that he hasn't used in the cage before. I don't know where the holes in Leon's performance would have been. Now, Leon did go to a post-fight press conference. And in the spot, he denied Belal Muhammad. And to deny an opponent is fine. I just thought that was done. I thought that was agreed upon. The fact that Belal was the backup fighter means that Leon could have fought him that night. Means Leon could have gone to that press conference having just fought Muhammad. So if he agreed to that, it would seem that it wouldn't be any problem to agree to fight him in the future. And my evidence that Muhammad is the right guy, my evidence is Leon. Leon said that right after he got done with the trilogy with Kamaru Usman. Right there in England. He denied Colby Covington, but he inserted Belal, who has not lost sense. So if Belal was the answer then, and he hasn't lost sense, it would be very obvious that he's the answer now, according to the equation that Leon laid out, I would think. This is what I would think. Now, if Leon was just having some fun, if this is what he does for marketing and there's some back and forth, I'm open, I'll listen to it. But he said that Belal should not be able to cut the line. And is that the line for the mandate of the masses? Because you guys are all behind Muhammad. Is that the line for impressive wins within the Ultimate Fighting Championship? Because that would go to Leon. I apologize to Belal. Would it be the line according to the rankings committee that comes out every Tuesday at 9 a.m.? That also would favor Muhammad. So, Belal's gone to work. I don't think he expected to hear a rejection from a guy who in March of the same year was planning to become his partner. And they were going to work together to get Colby out and make that match happen. I don't think he was expecting that. Not to mention, this is a former comrade. They've competed with each other before. That builds a certain bond. So I think that Belal was caught off guard. I think. But either way, he's a professional, and he went right to work. And he is laying his case out. And he is not going to stop laying his case out. So, Belal did a piece. I'm not going to quote now, it's off the top of my head, but I read it about 3 hours ago, and he said that he doesn't mind Leon's words because the only word that he cares about is that of Dana. And he's already got Dana's word that he's next. And the fact that Leon doesn't want it just shows that he's scared. Okay? All right. Now, you probably would assume that that's going to go unanswered. It's not like Leon's going to answer it. This isn't a skill that Leon has. Well, not so fast. Leon said, LOL, Blahal, calm down, son. You're the least intimidating person in this organization. He said, I already told the UFC, I don't mind, I'll fight you next. That's easy work. You just have to figure out why they hate you so much. I must have read this thing 3 times. And then I have to do the little search. This got sent to me in a text message. So where'd you get that from? I got it from Twitter. I had to go on Twitter and actually search to make sure there was a verified account. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that Leon has said these things. I mean, this is brilliant work here. This is easily the greatest thing that Leon has ever done for promotion, ever. He had a title fight over the weekend of which he gets a back-end financial participation, and he didn't do for that what he just did here. Okay, now, calm down, son. That is just the most condescending. You can't call a grown man son. I'm not sure that Blahal isn't a year or 2 older than Leon, by the way, which makes it even better. Okay. He then says, you're the least intimidating guy in the organization. I have no problem fighting you, which is what I told the UFC. You're easy work. What you need to do is to figure out why they hate you so much. You know, I would actually like to know as well what is going on there. I mean, when I look at Bilal Muhammad, that is one guy that gets everything right. Bilal Muhammad, Sean O'Malley, Israel Adesanya. Right? I mean, they all study one another and then copy one another. Like, they are dead even for spending their time not only working on their skills, but promoting their brand and getting their message to you guys. There aren't 4 and 5 and 6 guys in the whole sport that do that. It's just Bilal, Sean, and Izzy. So, I would also be curious. And I can't act as though Bilal isn't given a certain amount of opportunities. But every time you get into something, there's this new challenge that's not only physical, but you also have a mental challenge that you've got to overcome. I mean, having everything going your way like it was for Muhammad. He was on vacation up in Canada. There was somebody who was eating poutine. He gets a call and he's got to go fight Gilbert Burns in a couple of days. Oh, and by the way, this is the one. This is the number 1 contender. Now you got everything on it. You got to try to get the weight off. You got to get licensed. You got to get to the location. You got to do your media. I mean, this is a mess for both of them. But what about, you want to know the true mental challenge that Muhammad's ever had to face? He was a main eventer on an absolute run. I mean, he is making a run. He gets put on an undercard against Sean Brady. Now, Sean Brady at the time was 15-0. There could not have been a way to tell a guy in any less certain terms, we're trying to get rid of you. Like, there wouldn't be a way to speak as clearly as he was spoken to, being put on coming off of main events onto an undercard with a 15-0 hammer. And he found a way. He not only found a way, I would argue it was his best performance. So now he's got this new challenge, which, by the way, he was willing to do over the weekend on 8 days' notice as a backup fighter against one of 2 guys. I mean, not for nothing. Bilal's been tested, and he's passed the test, right? There's a game. Not everybody has to like you. There's a game. Here's what we're going to have you do. But if you do it, well, now we like you, right? I mean, it's just the way that it goes. And, I mean, that was good work by Leon. That was excellent work. That was one of the best tweets of the year as far as generating interest. Not to mention, it was G-rated. He didn't have to use profanity. He didn't have to make it dirty. He got his point across. He says he's not intimidated by Belal Muhammad. Well, Belal's a pretty intimidating guy. I think everybody else would agree, but this is the champion of the world. He's got the right to feel the way he feels. But nothing has made me as sure that we're going to see this fight as that text essentially dismissing the fight.